Hello, everyone. This is Rosemary Coates in Silicon Valley. I'm your host for this edition of the Frictionless Supply Chain podcast. I'm the executive director of the Reshoring Institute, where we help companies bring back manufacturing to the U.S. or expand their manufacturing in the U.S. And I'm also a contributing writer to Supply Chain Management Review magazine. Today, I'm delighted to introduce you to Danielle Malconian, my friend and owner and CEO of an online retailer for plus-size apparel called Plus by Design, and the brand owner of Vikki Vi. But I'm going to let her tell you about her fantastic, successful career and background in just a minute. And today, we're going to actually be focusing on supply chains in the global apparel industry and Danielle's choice to manufacture in America. So let's get started. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you very much, Rosemary. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started with the brand and the online retailing?
Yes, I would be happy to. I started in the plus size clothing industry in 1992 with Nordstrom and found a love for the business and continued there for several years until I had my daughter in 2001. About that time, I was encouraged to go and try to sell something online, and the Vikki Vi clothing label was so successful at Nordstrom that it was an obvious choice to try and sell online. So I started with a Yahoo store, and then was able to buy the label, the Vikki Vi label, in 2008, and we've now been online for about 21 years.
Fantastic. That's great. So what's the market like for plus size fashion? And is this part of the apparel industry that's actually growing?
Definitely. The plus size fashion has been growing pretty much nonstop since the early 90s. It's a interesting industry in the way that that people shop. You know, a lot more is happening online, but there's difficulties both sides. So the demand is definitely there. Whether the apparel industry can keep up with that demand in the right way is another question, actually.
Yeah, so it used to be, I think, that apparel manufacturers just made bigger sizes for plus size clothing, but that's not really the answer. I mean, it's my understanding that plus size clothing is differently designed to meet body requirements for a plus size person.
Yes.
And that's different from just a plain bigger size.
That's right. That's right. Women's sizes, which we refer to when you see a W, a 12W or 14W, refers to the fact that the garments get wider and not just longer. So, you know, in the old days when you'd have an extra large or a 2X, it just kind of got larger in both ways. And, you know, of course, we've realized that women don't necessarily get taller as they get plus sized.
Yeah, I guess that's the hope.
The opposite for my customers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Well, how else is the apparel industry changing beyond just plus size?
Well, the huge migration online has just changed everything in the apparel industry. As if you go into stores these days, you'll notice that the selection is dramatically reduced. In plus sizes and really in regular sizes. You won't be able to find those basic items that you were looking for that you would find years ago. All those have gone to whatever store's online platform, and the store is full of new seasonal fashion and stuff like that. So shopping has just changed, really. We've all had to get used to, you know, figuring out how we can shop online, how we can decide what our size is, and it's just a whole different industry. Then there's the whole fast fashion thing. You know, that's a really big concern in environmental circles, that all of these kind of throwaway pieces of clothing are just being manufactured like crazy overseas mostly, and ending up in the landfills. And so I think part of the industry is coming to an idea that that's not a smart way to go, but I mean, you could still go on Amazon and get a lot of different stuff for $10.
Yeah,
even if
yeah,
it
yeah, for sure.
lasts.
So that's a big issue that we talk about a lot in supply chain management is the circular economy and recycling and so forth. And I understand that a lot of fast fashion just goes to a landfill somewhere and is never recycled, which
It's
has
unfortunate because I mean, it lasts a season. It either stretches out or gets a hole or something. You can't donate things like that anymore. The charities can't really use it. So it's unfortunate.
yeah, yeah, it's really terrible. And of course, Vikki Vi has not like that at all. I mean, I know there are plenty of people that have Vikki Vi, including me, that have Vikki Vi brands from 20 years ago. And they last forever, it seems like, and are classical, so the shapes and styles and so forth don't change as much as you would find it in like fast fashion.
It's true.
Okay.
Very true.
So tell us about your website and how it's designed and to appeal to your customer base.
Well, that is an interesting question because I just brand new today have a new version of the website out. I don't know if you've seen it.
Not yet.
But where there's always a push to figure out how to make a website more shoppable, more easily understandable, um, easy to use on mobile. So that's where our push has been, is really to make the images nice and large, the descriptions very full descriptions, you know what I mean? People understand exactly what the return policy is and when they'll get their items. It's really just, nailing it down to the bottom line of helping a customer make a decision to buy. Pretty much we call it a conversion rate. So I have customers that come and we really look at getting those customers to purchase something.
Yeah, so converting them to a sale, right? So this whole idea of reverse logistics or returns is a huge problem also in the industry and growing because so many people will order things online, then they don't fit, or for whatever reason they want to return them. That's a
Right.
whole reverse process that we didn't think that much about in the past, but all of a sudden now it's really important.
Of course, because even if a lot of our customers will buy 6 things and with the idea in their minds that they're going to keep 2. So, 4 of those come back or, things get exchanged. Luckily, Vikki Vi and Plus by Design in general is pretty much based in knit clothing, which has some stretch. So one of my focuses was always to sell things that come in basically 1X, 2X, 3X, which is the, kind of like small, medium, large. And that way somebody can be a variation of sizes and things still fit. So our return rate is really about 10%. And the industry average is about 30 online.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so we're really fortunate that way.
Yeah, for sure. So, how did your business fare during the pandemic? Did you experience any supply chain shortages or how did it change?
The hardest part for us, Rosemary, I mean, we are domestic, so we didn't have to really deal too much with the, shipping problems and everything. But our biggest problem was that our customers, for the most part, they either work or they go to events or they travel. Those are our customers because of the type of clothing that we sell. So right away, we saw a dip in demand because people weren't going to work, they weren't going to events, and they weren't traveling. So that first couple of months was really, really tough. We were able to sell some face coverings for a little while. And then we kind of pivoted to, cute tops for Zoom, or I'm sure you remember getting the emails, or loungewear, or, things to just be at home and comfortable in. But it hurt, but it wasn't for very long actually, because our customers are so loyal to the product that they just wear it all the time.
Yeah.
I found through the pandemic that they were still wearing their Vikki Vi tops and bottoms around the house, even when they weren't going out or traveling. So
Yeah.
thank goodness.
Yeah. Okay. Well, tell us about your production facilities. You mentioned that you're manufacturing in America,
We are
and you intend to keep manufacturing in America, I believe, right?
yes, yes.
How did
We've
that
had
happen when most, apparel manufacturers were migrating to Asia in the 90s and after 2000 when China ascended to the World Trade Organization and those quotas and so forth were lifted, an awful lot of apparel companies went to China. Why did you make the decision to stay here?
when I purchased the Vikki Vi label in 2008, they were actually manufacturing in California. And so the brand was kind of born and raised in the United States. And I personally find that there are a lot of issues to go offshore with the manufacturing. We do get some fabric from Korea mostly, but as far as the cutting and the sewing and the design and all that, it's just I'm a control freak, Rosemary. I want things the way they are, and I'm not the type to get on a plane and travel all the time like I know you do. You travel so much. It just felt a lot better, and so we've been in a production house in New York for the last 10 years, and we just actually moved to New Jersey. So we found another production place. So our volume isn't that high that we would save such a considerable amount. But our customers always also demand the quality that we get here. And I think
So that's a good point. Tell us a little bit more about the fabrics and the quality of the products and the Vikki Vi label, because they're really unique.
Well, it's an interesting conversation because we just had a terrible problem with getting our acetate lycra slinky. So Vikki Vi is known for acetate spandex product that's very heavyweight, 14 ounces to the yard. And that's what makes the fabric drape so beautifully. Well, the dye house that we had in Greensboro, South Carolina, just closed in November. And they are literally the only dye house for slinky in the country. So we were trying to get somebody else up to speed, and it's becoming very difficult to get the fabric. We're having to really jump through hoops to find it. So we finally found a really reputable manufacturer in Korea. And interestingly enough, they buy the yarn, the spandex yarn, or the acetate yarn from Easton, which is domestic. So because of that, they buy the yarn, they ship the yarn over to Korea and send us the fabric back knitted. It has a lot to do with how getting the fabric back and forth because they're using domestic yarn.
Okay.
So
that's
we'll start to get our pardon?
That's post-pandemic. That's post-pandemic, after the pandemic.
That just happened. Yeah, no, 6 months ago. I've been out of stock in black, in our most popular black classics for about 6 months. And we should see a new shipment this month. So I'm excited to get back into it, but it's been really difficult.
Yeah, that's a classic supply chain issue. You can't find a supplier, right? Or you have some problem with the supplier and have to address it for sure.
And it's just very expensive. Acetate has become very, very expensive. So that's what's raised the prices too, unfortunately.
Okay. So Plus by Design is known for its relentless focus on quality and customer service. And as a result, you have a very loyal customer base. I know me and some of my friends that buy Vikki Vi products are just incredibly loyal to the brand. How do you think those policies affected your business over time?
I've always treated my customers like friends, and I really think that has made a difference because somebody could call us up and get an answer. Our customers don't feel frustrated when they have a problem. We turn those problems into wins by being overly generous, and it's created a community. You know, we have a really great Facebook group that people like to comment and be in, and it's a family, and it's just part of my personality. I think that was so important to me. Rather than trying to grow huge, it was just more about providing something quality for people who are interested in being a part of that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know of any other, I can't think of any other brand that I buy or that I know of that, sort of talks to each other. It feels like, it feels like we know you and are quite comfortable asking questions and, giving feedback and talking to you. And that's a
But
really different feel, that customer loyalty that makes you want to keep coming back again and again and again to your brand. So really, really important.
thank you. Thank you. Building online trust is one of the most important things when you're trying to sell online. It's because people they don't walk into your store and see you, so they need to feel it. Important.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, we have some comparable examples. Certainly Amazon, has a fairly generous return policy as well. It's easy for returns. It's,
Yeah.
it makes it fairly friendly, even though it's not personal. It's still a kind of a favorable environment. And then you've obviously taken that to a whole nother level. So we appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much. I hope that continues. I really do.
Yeah. So there are a lot of career supply chain professionals listening today. And as a leader with a long and successful career and maybe some advice to give to people, particularly women who would want to advance their careers, what kind of advice would you give?
I find that women that try don't try so hard to be competitive with the men in the field, and just be themselves and be honest. And like I was talking about, um, you know, put your feeling into your work, find your passion, and lead with that. I think that's the strength that women have, that we can be competitive with, that we don't have to join the rat race of men, climbing up the ladder. And I think women need to they need to rely on each other. We need to get rid of the caddies stereotypes that have been placed on women, and that whole idea, if you're strong, you're some kind of bitch or whatever, right? So all of those things that have been put on women who are climbing the corporate ladder, we just need to sidestep in a way, just by being ourselves, by being authentic, really authentic, looking people in the eyes, and having high expectations of how we're being treated. So I just think, women have a lot of power that we kind of tamp down because we don't want to look a certain way. So just, let it roar like you do, Rosemary. You're amazing.
Thank you. So Danielle, how do people contact you if they want to learn more about Vikki Vi or they want to order from the site? Give us some how to contact you.
Well, our website URL is plusbydesign.com. You can also find us by searching Vikki Vi, which is Vikki Vi. We have a wide variety of women's plus size clothing. Our demographic is probably 40 plus. And, if you're looking for comfortable, well-made clothing that packs wonderfully, right, Rosemary? Packs in your suitcase and just lasts a long time. And our new tagline on the website is "Empower Your Curves." So that's where we're going. Empower your curves, and visit us at Plus by Design. And if you
click the email address, the email.
You can email us at customerservice@plusbydesign.com.
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's always fun to talk to you, Danielle. And you
It's a
can listen to more Frictionless Supply Chain podcasts posted on Supply Chain Management Review's landing page on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can reach me, Rosemary Coates, at rcoates@reshoringinstitute.org, and visit our website, www.reshoringinstitute.org, where we publish all of our research on manufacturing in America. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you for listening.